Tim and Julie with the American Association of Christian Counselors based out of Lynchburg, Virginia. Good friends of our ministry and have been for years. Tim's radio show is heard on AFR Talk in the evenings at 6:30 Central Time on AFR. And Julie the E-Women conferences. She is responsible for that. Extraordinary Women Conferences, Christian Women's Conferences held around the country, and she joins us now, Julie Clinton. Julie, good morning to you.
Good morning, Tim and Ray. How are you doing today?
Doing well. Thanks for joining us. Lynchburg, last I talked to somebody in Lynchburg, you guys were supposed to get hit hard last week. Did that happen?
We did. We got about 14 inches of snow, which is kind of rare for the Virginia area.
Yeah, 14. Wow. 14 would be, you would read about us in the history books.
So we are trying to dig our way out.
Yes, I understand. Well, tell us about your new book called Bounce Back.
Well, the new book, Bounce Back, and I want to just kind of give you kind of an outline of it, of what the whole, I guess what it's all entirely about. And I want to kind of relate it because I know that you guys know all about sports, and I know that's something that interests you a whole lot. So I'm going to kind of relate it to like a sports, I guess a sports
You're going to dumb it down for the men? Is that what you're saying, Julie?
Yeah, I'm
so we can understand.
But I just know that there are men that listen
Right.
too, so I know that they can relate to sports.
Right.
And my son, Zach, is in a big game Thursday night, and I'm telling you, he's against actually the number one sophomore for the nation. His name's Bomb Maker, and he's 7'1" and highly recruited all over. But anyway, our little LCA team is going to be playing against them Thursday night. And I know as a coach, in the game of basketball, if the game seems to be out of control, you know, the score's down, the shots are off. My son's a good three-point shooter, but if his shots are off, as a coach, what I'm going to do is I'm going to call a timeout. I'm going to stop the game. I'm going to help my team be able to get some air. I want them to breathe and kind of just stop and collect their thoughts. And I'm comparing this to the game of life. In life, when life is out of control, we have to kind of stop. We have to let go of our racing mind. We have to realize that worry doesn't change our circumstances. We need to retreat or step back, and I'm calling that the breathe stage, where we need to just run into the arms of Jesus at this time. And then, secondly, the team has to believe in their game plan. They have to look back at the basic foundational principles that got them to where they're at. We in the game of life also need to remember, we need to believe. We need to remember who's on the throne. We need to remind ourselves of God's presence and his power in our life. We need to reread his word and his promises, realizing that he's more powerful than our circumstances, that he loves us, and his heart is toward each and every one of us, not against us. And then the name of the book is called Bounce Back, and that's the third principle. As the basketball team, they need to execute, and they need to get back after the game. They need to get back on the floor. They need to make positive direction steps. They need to think in the way they think, act, and do. And for each and every one of us, we need to bounce back. We need to be free. We need to ask God to show us what to say, what to do. Maybe where to focus our prayers and our faith. We need to leave the past behind us. We need to claim the future that's ours, and then we need to live life with a heavenly purpose and an eternal reward. In other words, guys, we need to come back, and we need to come back stronger, re-energized, and renewed.
You know, Julie, there's only one problem with that illustration. All the guys in the audience are going, did you say a sophomore who is 7'1"? You know, we're stuck back in the front of that illustration. Well, God bless your son and the guys who are going up against that team on Thursday night. It's a great way of looking at it. You know, you say in your book that it is possible to say no to despair. I think we probably have a lot of listeners, both men and women, who feel stuck in a valley, in a place where they feel surrounded by impossibilities. Is there a way out of the valley of despair?
Well, there is a way out. God's desire is always that I believe that we move onward, forward, and higher. He doesn't want us to get stuck where we're at. He wants us to leave that past behind, maybe to let us let go of the things that are so easily besetting us, maybe creating a new normal in our lives, which can be very difficult, I know. He doesn't want us to stay stuck. He wants us to claim the verse that, you know what, his mercies are new for us each and every day. And my favorite verse, of course, is Jeremiah 29:11. And I know what I'm doing, says the Lord. I have it all planned out. I have plans to take care of you, not to abandon you, but plans to give you the future that you hope for. And I do believe God also wants us to move upward, and that means to press toward the goal that we have in Christ. In other words, never let your eyes get off Christ.
Julie, say a word about those racing thoughts. I think a lot of people understand exactly what you mean when worry just seems to be so overcoming that the thoughts come so fast of fear and doubt that you don't even know what to do. How do you breathe? How do you take a breath in the middle of those rushing emotions and rushing thoughts?
Well, I think sometimes you just need to, in a sense, separate yourself a little bit from all of that. And like my husband, who you know is a counselor, he tells me all the time, Julie, when I get to worrying about things, what good is it going to do to worry about it? You're missing the opportunity that God's given you right now to be an influence in whatever lives you are. Don't be worrying about what's going to happen here, there, and all this sort of thing. Get yourself educated as to what's going on and put it in God's hands, because we really don't have control over any of that.
Talking to Julie Clinton about her book, Bounce Back, subtitle, When Your Heart is Empty and Your Dreams Are Lost. Did you, I'm always curious, what prompted you? Was there an event in your life or an event in your friend's life, or you saw something going on that you thought this needed to be addressed?
Well, you know, every year with Extraordinary Women, I look into the eyes of thousands of women as they tell me their stories. And that's kind of what's in this book. You know, many of their eyes, I describe them as being filled with anger and sadness, discouragement. And for some, they just feel hopelessness. You know, a lot of times they'll give me stories about a bad marriage maybe they've had, or a divorce, or maybe a wayward son or daughter, a lost pregnancy, dying mom or dad, or cancer. It's just absolutely amazing the amount of women who I see every weekend who stand saying they've lost a child, or a woman who can stand saying, you know what, I'm going through breast cancer, can you pray for me? And I just think that these are women that are enslaved in their pain, and I think the biggest tragedy is that they're hoping for a better day, but a lot of them don't believe that that day is coming for them.
What's the role of Christian friends in pulling yourself out of the slough of despond, despair, fear? I assume part of the answer is we can't do this entirely by ourselves, that we need our brothers and sisters to help us along. How do we reach out when we feel utterly alone and isolated? And
a lot of times we do feel alone and isolated. And I think that's the part of what we need to realize, first of all, is that God is a friend that sticks closer than a brother to us. So we have to look at that. But we also have to look at friends. You're right. I think the hands and feet of Jesus are through our friends. And if maybe you're a woman out there listening to me right now, as you know, women are very relational. We love to have friends. Maybe you don't feel like you have a friend. Well, what you need to do is you need to give to others. You need to go out. There are women, there are children, teenagers all over America who need our love and who need our care and who need for us to give into their lives. And I know there's somebody out there that you can invest in, and somebody then that can invest in you. And by giving a lot of times, we'll get the love that we need and that we're desiring in a friendship.
Tell us about we got a couple minutes left, talking to Julie Clinton about her book, Bounce Back. The Extraordinary Women Conferences series, what is you got? How many you got planned in 2014?
Okay, right now we have 4 planned on our spring tour, and we actually leave next weekend for our very first one, and that's in Tulsa, Oklahoma. And then we have 2 in the fall, and I know we're kind of in your area, I think, at the end of the fall in South Haven. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yes. So we have 6 great ones planned, and our theme for this year is Joy in the Journey. So we're talking about how to choose joy in our journey, regardless of what journey we're going through right now, how to choose God's joy.
How long have these eWomen conferences been going on now?
We've been doing them for about 12 years.
Yeah. Wow.
So.
Well, listen, Julie, thanks for being our guest. We wish you the best. And the book is called Bounce Back, When Your Heart is Empty and Your Dreams Are Lost. And we all go through seasons of our life or know people who are in those that, oftentimes feel despair. hopelessness or troubled spirits, if you will, and they need somebody to come alongside them and help them. Where can people get the book?
In bookstores everywhere.
Okay, thank you, Julie.
Thank you so much, Tim and Ray. God bless you. And Tim says to say hello to you.
Well, we tell Tim hello, and I keep up with Zach through Tim. It's your son. I'm talking about he's going to play baseball for Liberty University, right?
Yes, we're really excited about that. Yes, we are.
Absolutely. Well, good luck. He's Zach 6'1", 6'2"? What is he?
He's 6'2", yes.
Yeah, and he's going against 7'1"?
Yeah, so he'll need more than prayers.
Yeah, he'll need God to work the impossible right there. But good luck with that one. But anyway, take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much. Bye.
Okay.